Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 5 in our We're All Mad Here Alice in Wonderland book. Now, you may notice that there are 3 signatures here now instead of 2. I made a small center, signature because they were too big. It actually looks like the back signature is way bigger than the first 2. So we may have to take that into account. I may have to put you on pause and go back through. I'm not happy that I had to do this because I had done the ephemera already. So that's a lesson to me to wait and do the ephemera after you have the pages all organized and you know for sure that this is the final way that you're going to have to do it. So we've got our 3 signatures. This is what we're going to need to finish. We have our ribbon to tie the book shut, and I decided to go with red. Okay, we have our sewing kit so we can sew the signatures in. I'll set that to the side. We have our cover pieces outside and inside. I've pre-cut them and inked them to make everything easier for our lives. We have the centerpiece that's going to go right here, cover the spine. I pre-cut that as well. Then we have what we're going to decorate the inner covers with, and that is these extra large envelopes, and we're going to hold them in with belly bands. Okay, these are I think better than pockets because you can take it out, put stuff in them, and then if you absolutely want to, you can actually take it with you somewhere. I don't know, put your coupons in it, take it to the grocery store, who knows. I think I'm going to use a crocodile because the signatures are so thick. I went to 3 signatures because well, first of all, they were really fat. But now that I'm going to use the crocodile, I probably could have left them the way they were. But we also had, or I also had, too big of a spine. This is actually the 3rd cover that I've done. I have 2 other really nice covers. So they're like the 3 bears. And hopefully this one is just right once we put in 3 signatures. Now, I was going to put in just some writing pages in the center, which were these coffee dyed pages, and then I decided they just didn't match the style. Okay, so let's get going here. Now I'm not going to do the cover pieces until we're done. I custom wrote this on here, and I don't want to glue it on the cover until I know for sure. We're going to set these to the side as well, that everything went well with the signatures. Okay, so let's set this over here for right now. We're going to need our ribbon so we don't forget it. Here's our glue. So what we're going to do first, we're going to set these to the side as well, is we're going to put the inner papers in. So you measure this to the same height as your inner papers. Okay, and then you measure the width, usually about 1 inch wider than what your spine in the space comes to. I left a little bit bigger space this time in the cover. It lays a lot flatter, and also because we had the larger signatures, I thought it would be easier to do it that way. So let's go ahead and glue this piece in. And then we'll glue on our ribbon. All right. Ah, that's better. So I've been having a little trouble with this cover. I kept making the spine too big. Even though the book is fat, as you all know, the spine where this comes together is very narrow. So I ended up with some fairly large gaps in between. Now, doing a book this way, where you're not going to add a lot more ephemera to it, you're going to have that. There's no way around it. The gaps. If you are going to do a journal where you oh, you know what I needed to do? Let me get this back up again. I need to put some glue down here. Because we want the paper to stick right here. We don't want it to bubble up. You know, on the other side when you open it. Now, there's a less chance of it doing on this one because the space is bigger. Let's get this straight. Well, these little spider webs I need to get off. Looks like I'm going to have to fight with that last little guy. There we go. Well, it could have been a little bit lower on the bottom. That means our whole cover is going to be up a little bit. So now we want to take our bone folder. This is my new Teflon one. We want to run it in here. And press it down. Okay. I don't know why I keep going off. Okay. We don't want to do it too much because we want it to lay flat so that we can work with it, but you do want to make sure it's going to fold and then everything's going to be fine. Now, when I redid this cover, I made this, I didn't measure the inch, so it came in farther, but that's okay because we're going to cover it with the papers. And these papers are, oh, we can't do this yet. We got to do the ribbons. See? Guys almost let me forget. All right, so to do our ribbon, I do mine a little different than I've seen most people do it. Let's see if I can find an end here. This is a really long piece of ribbon. Okay, now I found both ends. All right, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and I would rather cut some off into half, a little more than a half. Then I'm going to cut it. That was my glue. I'll take that ribbon and put it out of the way and rewind it later. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to disregard where the word is written, and I want to find the center. Now remember, you don't want to glue all the way out because your paper's not going to go all the way out. This is thin enough that I can kind of glue. Well, let me do this. Okay. Glue it down. And this to me is an easy way to make sure that you've got it even. Let that dry a little bit more. This is so thin, and you can see that it kind of goes right down into the cover. Now if you go straight across, then your other one is going to be in the same spot. And it doesn't matter if they're, you know, yeah, I went a little long with this one, but it doesn't matter if they are, I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say. I think I was going to say it doesn't matter if they're too long. I think that's what I was going to say. As my grandma used to say, if you can't remember it, it must be a lie. So now you'll see, oops, when we close the book, we have this much, which is way too much, but still, I could have done without that half, I guess. Then you're just going to take your scissors, make sure these are even. Pull this out. But I think this would look good with a great big bow. Okay, and then we're going to cut it out here. All right. And now we've got our two ties, which are really, really long. I did do it off center just a little bit. So now once these dry, looked like it was coming up just a little bit. I thought I heard both corners pop up when we closed the book. Keep forgetting to push everything forward. It's easier now to see where that's going to be. Okay, so we've got that. Now we just need to line up our inner papers. And remember, you want to line it up with the top of this. And then you want it to go out about this far from the edge. And even with the paper that you just put in. Okay, so we're going to glue that. Now I had to use 2 pieces of paper. Just one was not big enough. You know, just one cut in half was not big enough. So the cover ended up being 8 3/4, not 9, by 5 1/2. Now 6. This Vectoria Design kits, or these Vectoria Design kits, come out a different measurement than. What is the deal with all these little threads? Okay, now this does have a top and a bottom. Let's put it in right side up. Even with the bottom. And I did ink these with black soot. And you'll see it covers the ribbon. I mean, where the ribbon was glued. This covers the edge of this paper. You want to go in a little bit from where the book creases. This is black. I don't want to take a chance really on any glue squeezing out towards the outside. So I'm trying to do it outside in to spread the glue. Okay. Now let's do this one. So anyway, this is a 1 1/4 spine. I could have gone 1 inch with the 2 signatures. So you can also think about, if you don't like the bigger gap in the middle, you know, then if you have bigger signatures, you're still going to have that. It doesn't matter the size of the outside. I mean, it does as far as closing it, making it a gator mouth, but you want to make sure this is the right side up. You can also put a loop of paper in there and make a pencil holder if you have a lot of writing space in your book. Okay, so now that looks nice. Now I'm going to sew in the signatures before I do the covers. This is a bit of a bright red compared to the inside. But we're going to have the big envelopes there, and the big envelopes have these roses on them, which is the brighter red, and the cover has the brighter red on it with the hearts. I'm not going to decorate the cover in this video. I'm going to leave it up to your discretion as to how you're going to decorate yours, and but I am going to show you how to put it on, how to put the belly band on, sew in the signatures. I'll probably just sew in one on camera and then put you on hold once you see how to do one, you know. I am going to use the crocodile, so the holes are going to be a little bigger. So I'm going to use my waxed bookbinding thread. However, I will probably come back with something thicker so that it fills up the hole a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to use the black. I don't have any red. If I had red, I would use it. I'm going to get out my chalk pencil because we're working on black. Let me get out a needle. Do that in a minute. So I can move this out of the way. You can also, if you want to just poke the holes, I find that quite a bit harder to sew. I don't know. Let me put you on hold for a second while I think about this. Okay, I forgot to tell you about the different tools that you can use if you're going to poke the holes. They're called pokey tools for poking the holes, or one is called an awl. I got this from Lisa's Paper Lace and Bling, and it's very nice. She sent it to me with a cork on it, and it has a long, narrower point, so that makes a little bit smaller hole. Then you have your awl, which is spelled A-W-L, which is pretty fat, but it is longer. Then you also have your pokey tool from We Are Memory Keepers, and it is short and fat, and it has this end on it because it's mainly used to set brads. So it's not really made for bookbinding. Okay, so we're going to cover that up before I pokey tool a hole. I already cut my finger on the blade on the paper cutter, the paper trimmer of all things. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use the crocodile because it's easy for me, and I'm disabled and my hands don't work as well. And then this is awfully thin thread, so I'm going to come back and do it with larger after we're done. Now, the other thing you can do is you can take black elastic, you can poke holes at just the top and the bottom, and then you can run the thread, the elastic thread through, and then just slide the papers underneath, and they're held that way. If you have a journal that's mostly writing, that's a good option. If the person fills up the journal, they can slide the pages out and put new journal pages in. Okay, but we're not going to do that on this book, but I just thought I would mention it. I do show how to do it in other books. In fact, a book I just finished that I made a flip through of is got a center signature that's just writing paper that's done this way, and so you can see that it'll be on the date signature of the video uploads will be right before this one, and this is October of 2021. Okay, so we're going to mark my silly fire tablet. You know, my computer rebooted too overnight without my consent. So on this we're going to have 3 spots that we're going to make holes. So this is 1 1/4. So half of that is going to be 3/4 of an inch. Right? Right. No, that's not right. It's going to be 1 3/8. Okay, so the center is going to be well, it's not going to be 1 3/8. It's going to be, here, wherever my centering ruler tells me, because it's very early in the morning and apparently I can't do math right now. So it's 5/8. Okay, so we're going to want to mark the center. And then, now the reason I'm using chalk is because I can erase it. Pencil I won't be able to see on the black cover. Then we're going to go to the center down here. And it's kind of hard on here to see as well. Okay, I'm going to draw a line down the center. I've sharpened my chalk pencil to a very sharp point. Make a light line. Oh, on a side note, never use this ruler with a rotary cutter. I ruined one. I cut off the whole edge in a big chunk off of my ruler, so I had to buy a new one. Now we're going to take this half and we're going to measure half of that. Let's see, 1, 2, half, 1, 2, or quarter, 1, 2, nope. That doesn't seem right. I guess it is, though. Now, if we want to definitely make it easy on ourselves, you can use a T-square. This is kind of thick for that, though. Oh, we can put it on the edge of the book. And wherever our line is, a T-square has a lip on it, so that whenever you hook it, then it will make a straight line. Right. Now we're going to want this one about right there. To me, that seems too close to the center. I mean, these two. Seems like there's going to be too much on the edges. Of course, now that's where the fatter signatures are, but still, I don't want to see that. So I'm going to move them out just a little bit. And I'm going to eyeball it. Now this one looks like it's in the right spot. Maybe over just a smidge. Okay, now we're going to go an inch in on each one from the bottom of the book. Okay, we're going to do it from the inch. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. I'm using the wrong side of the ruler. That's what's wrong with my brain. Okay, we're going to go 1 inch up. Make a mark. Make a mark on the outside 1 inch up. And make a mark on the center 1 inch up. They should line up. I'm going to do the same from the top. I'm going to come down 1 inch. Mark it on the line. Down 1 inch. Mark it on the line. Down 1 inch. Mark it on the line. Now we also want to make a dot in the center. I like to make a dot in the center between these and not the center of this. Everybody, you know, does their own thing. So from here to here is 6 3/4. So that should be 3 5/8. Yes. And here's the center. Now these 6 spots are where we're going to make our holes. This one seems a little crooked compared to the other 2. I'd like to come back with maybe some embroidery floss and do it. The only problem, as you'll see, will be in the center. Okay, so I'm going to take my crocodile. I'm going to set it on the smallest hole, which is not the farthest back setting, but the one in the middle. Now if you wanted to put eyelets in, you could. I don't have eyelets for the smallest size. There's a guard here so that you can do ones the exact same distance in, but right now we've got our mark. Now you can start it by starting to push, and you'll see where this is going to come down, and that will help you line it up with the hole. So let's do the center holes first. Okay, and we'll do the ones on the end. And you can see how much bigger these holes are than what you would have when you poke it through. However, they're much cleaner. When you poke it through, some of the paper or the cardboard is going to push through. As you can see, I have difficulty even using the crocodile because of my hands. So I apologize that I'm doing this so slow. Now we're going to do the 3 on the bottom. Or the top, depending, but really they're the bottom. So now we can erase our chalk lines. Look for all these little pieces that came through. Let's get those out of the way. Okay. This one's just a smidge crooked, but I don't think you'll notice it. The center one, it's just a little to the left, but it's lined up this way. Now it's over just a little bit. The center ones are the hardest to see. You're not going to see it because you're going to sew over it anyway. All right, so you just start at one side. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look like I kept my thumb where I was supposed to keep it. Yeah, that looks short. I'd rather have it a little long and trim it than not have it long enough. Alright, so we're going to set that aside because the big major step I forgot is we have to mark these and put the holes in them. So we're going to mark them with a pencil. If I could find my pencil. Okay. Well, we have a major malfunction. So I need my pencil. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you're going to want to center your signature and make sure it's straight. Center it on the top and the bottom. Then you're going to mark it where you want to poke the holes. Don't worry about making the mark. You're going to lose it when you make the hole, right? Plus it's in pencil. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the crocodile. We're going to come through, we're going to open these up and lay them flat. We're going to come through, make sure they're straight. Let me get some clips. You don't want them to move. I had some folder pockets, but I was afraid to do them because they were only going to be held in by one thread, one stitch. Okay. So let's go in with our crocodile and do the center. Make sure you're on the fold. Then do the one end. And then making sure nothing moves. Now we're going to want to do that with the next one. This one's thinner. Oh, the folder is still in this one. Well, the string should hold it in. Let's try it in this one and then we'll see. The other ones are thicker. So I think what we'll do is do it on this one in the center and then not do it on the others. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's in the center. Looks like it's pushing this out quite a bit. Even though I really like the idea, I'm not really having a lot of luck with this book. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, let's get our cover back. Now this one's going in the center, so use your center holes. I actually marked the holes wrong on that one, but these holes are big enough. The hardest part is getting the hole in the on the spine itself and not left or right of center, dead center. Okay, so we're going to open this up. I'm going to do the same thing. Yes, my pencil's in my mouth. In case you're wondering what day it is, today is the day that William Shatner is taking a ride into space. I'm having trouble lining this up with the center. You know what I mean? The center this way, right down the spine. There's a shadow because of the way my lights are. Okay. And the third one is done the same way. But since we're just going to do one, then we're going to do Alice, which is actually the first one. So let's get our thread. Let's get a needle. For some reason, to me, it still doesn't look long enough. You want to leave a tail. You're going to go out through the center. Back in through the top. Goodness. In through the top, leave a tail so you can tie it. Go back out through the center without splitting the thread here. Glue off my finger. And then you're going to want to make it tight. Then you're going to come back in through the bottom. You can see how this makes it much easier. Make sure everything's tight. And you're going to bring this up and you're just going to tie it. And I usually do a triple knot. The holes are bigger on this, so I'm actually going to do a couple of knots. I want to make sure that the center doesn't fit back through the hole. I'm going to do one more. And that's all there is to it. It's a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay. And then you trim the ends or leave them on. Leave them on and put beads on them and make them into bookmarks, whichever you want to do. So then you're going to do the other two the same way. And on the outside, it looks like this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. And so that's all there is to it. No big deal. Alright, especially if you make the holes. You can unclip this one now. And I'm going to put you on hold. And I'm going to do the other two. And then we're going to do the cover pictures. And then we'll be done. Or put the ephemera back in, or add your ephemera. Apparently, in case you need to move the pages around, it's better off to do the ephemera after. This is already pulled loose. Yeah, this waxed thread in these big of holes is not really going to work. So I'm probably just going to leave the one sewn in. And then I'll get something thicker. Maybe some embroidery floss. And then I may do it in red. I just didn't have any red in this. But the problem with this is that it doesn't stay tight as far as I'm concerned. And really it looks like it's my knot. My knot wasn't tight enough right here. It's tight on the outside, but it's loose on the inside. So it must be my knot. so I could actually probably undo it with a needle and tie it tighter. Anyway, I will put you on hold and take care of that, and then when we come back, we will put the covers on. Okay, you're back off break. Did you have a coffee and whatever? Smoke them if you got them? No, you can't smoke these days. Anyway, so I did go back with the embroidery floss in red, and I really, really like it. And it was much easier for me to sew, and it stayed in a lot tighter. The middle one is a little loose on the inside, but I think it's going to be fine. So now we have our red ribbon to tie it. And a little secret, I sewed in the first signature, and then I took this giant rubber band. Now you want to be careful, you don't want to bend or make an indentation on the top, but I took this big rubber band and I moved it out of the way, and I rubber banded it down so that it didn't get in my way when I was sewing the second one. And then once I got done with the second signature, then I put a rubber band there to get it out of the way, and then I sewed in the third. So this is the one that's a little iffy, but I think it's going to be fine. On a side note, this book is going to be going up for auction to raise money for a charity. So I'm hoping that that they really like it. I like it. And so all we have to do now is put our cover pictures on, and then we just need to construct our envelope. I've already made one to put them on the inside. Okay. We're going so long on time. May have to cut this in half. So if this started with a weird thing with no intro, then you'll know what happened. So you want to glue our cover on. Now this cover picture is a little small, but that's all right. It's inked in black, and there's black all around. I drew the lettering, and then I also took my white jelly pen, and highlighted some of the white on the front as well for this picture. Of course, you can use whatever image you want from the kit. I enhanced this with the white. So let's get it here. Let's get it centered. Actually, I think this is the one I'm going to use for the auction. I'm not sure. I've got another one that's prettier that isn't Alice. Not a lot of people like Alice, but a lot of people like floral and whatnot. Okay, let's glue the back paper on. I just want you to know this book is seriously heavy. We're going to cut some of that ribbon off, I do believe. I don't know, though. It might look good really long. You never know. And the color of it matches the color of the embroidery floss really well. And I left some of the embroidery floss hanging down. One of these, I may put a couple of beads on it. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's glue the back cover on. And we're going to double check and make sure that we don't glue the picture on upside down. Okay. Whew. Forgot to check the front cover. And I'm starving. So as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to reward myself with a toasted tomato sandwich with cheese, and then this seasoning called Everything Bagel. And everything that you can order on a bagel, then you can order on this. Okay, I had an alarm go off in the other room, so I had to snap you on hold real quick. And then when I got back, the glue was drying, so I had to go ahead and glue this on real quick. So, so we've got our front cover, our front cover on, our back cover on, our signatures sewn in, and our ribbon on to tie it shut. So now all we have left is to put something here on the inside. Now you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm almost questioning my decision. I really like this here, but I'm not sure about a belly band to cover it. I'm thinking maybe a narrower one. I've still got the paper that I cut it from, so I could probably cut another piece and look at it and see what I think. All right, let me cut a piece. I'm going to cut a piece a ½ an inch wide and see how that looks. Oh, I like that much better. It still covers her eyes. Doesn't have to though. Okay. All right, let's go for it. All right, let's put this in the center. Then I'll show you how I made the envelope. I think I am going to split this in half, this last video. Okay, so we're going to put just a little bit of glue at the bottom. Now this needs to be a little more snug, so I'm going to put a little more glue, or put the glue a little bit farther up so that the belly band is tighter. Okay, let's find our center, which I think is going to be right here. The center of our belly band there. Put it straight up. Okay. Let's let that dry. Okay. And I forgot to ink it. Cut a new one. The other one was inked. We can always just put a little more glue on it. There's writing on it. Put just a smidge. Okay. And this is the same paper, only in blue. That's why the text kind of lines up. So let's let that dry. Let's cut this at 1/2 inch. Or I think I'll cut another one at 1/2 inch. I'm sorry I'm off camera, but that's easier than. Okay, yep. Okay, let's ink this one. Oops. I had to stand up to go over to my paper trimmer. And when I came back, believe it or not, I almost fell off the stool. Anybody that knows me knows that that is entirely a possibility, because I've done it twice. Once I was on camera with my friends, we were crafting, and I went to sit down and I just went straight down and disappeared. Like somebody pretending to go down an elevator or escalator. You know how they just step shorter and shorter and shorter? Well, I just went straight down. All right, let's see how tight this is. Oh yeah, this is going to be fine. I'm going to hold that in. Okay. Now let's do it on the back cover. And then I'll show you how to make the envelope, and then we'll be done. Oh, you know those file folders, the little mini ones that I was scared to put in there and sew through? I ended up taking my hidden paper clips and clipping them on instead. So that worked out well. You'll see it in the flip through. There's always a flip through video at the end. Actually, I'll just go to those and show them to you. All right, now while that's drying, let's make this last thing. Now, this comes in the kit, and it looks like this. So I got out my scoreboard, and I printed it on both sides. The score lines are on this side. I like this one with the white rabbit. Then you just take your score tool. Now they're not black because I inked this, okay? But you take your score tool and you just score where the lines are. They'll be in a rectangle here, okay? And then you're just going to fold all your score lines. That'll bring you to this. And then we glue just this part right here. And it doesn't need a lot. I've got cards that I'm going to put in here, but I haven't cut them out yet. There was so much ephemera. So much ephemera. Okay. And then you're just going to flip this over. Use your score tool. Score it down real well so it doesn't stick out too much. You could put a Velcro dot there if you like. I decided not to since they're held down by the belly band. Okay, so let's go back over here. Done gluing. Yay! Oh, and then I inked everything beforehand, and then when I got done, I went back and inked all of these sides right here that you couldn't get to before it was folded. Okay? Okay, so now we'll just put this envelope in here. Ta-da! And Alice is done. Now, what I did, you can see these hidden paper clips, is I used them to hold on these little manila file folder pockets. Now I'm going to go back and put something in the pocket. I hadn't intended on using them. I had taken them out, so I need some more smaller ephemera to put in there. Okay, so we've got our belly band with our envelope. Then we've got our Alice signature. And I may move this because I like having the center without anything on it. So I may look through here and move it to the next page. Yeah, I don't know. I added this while we were on break because the hidden clip was holding this one and another one like it, and so when I took the hidden clip off and used it for the file folder, then I had these two pieces of ephemera left. And so we just go through, okay, and there's going to be a full flip through. Here's my other one with my other file folder. Okay. And that's it. Our Alice book is done. I'm going to tie it shut. Big fat book. And then of course we'll trim the ribbon. Possibly. Yeah, even with a big bow, it's going to need to be trimmed. Okay? And then we'll just trim it at an angle. And Alice is done. I hope you like it. I hope you liked this video series, and just keep track. And I have almost 250 tutorials now. Yay! And so I hope you stay tuned and watch them all. And the next tutorial series, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it'll be just a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.